Hi, hello, uh, aloha, hola, ¿cómo estás? Today's Tuesday, and I started this phoenix bird painting. I don't know if you can really see the shadows in it. I started on this, and I thought this was going to be easy, but it's not. It's not going to be easy because, first of all, what I'm really bothered by is that the base of the background, you can see the brush strokes, the horizontal brush strokes as I'm going down the canvas. Secondly, there's going to be, to make this look, I mean, there's going to be this is just the base. This is not even close to like where it's going to be. But the detail the fine, I just want to show you, I have a very fine brush. It has one hair left on it. 2 hairs, 3, whatever. It's going to take a lot of fine, slow, detailed work because this is rough. And fire is not contained. So I don't want it to look too detailed either. I want it to look like legit fire. But I have to add more, like a shit ton more layers to this and put some black in here because we need, there needs to be negative space to, in the fire to make it look, to make it look like fire. But I'm not doing that until I'm happy with where this is at. The final like stuff, and I have to add an eye in, which I'm not done with that yet. And these have to become more, they're fiery-ish. And then I did the whole bottom as black, and then I did it like ashes, and then I repainted it. And actually what I'm gonna do is maybe put some flicks of ash on the bottom, but I'm just gonna do like a double helix in like fire colors, but like just dotted with like some white, and make it look like like rebirth, like double helix. I want it to look like. That's the goal. I don't know. It's a self-portrait. This is actually me. I've kind of been going through a spiritual awakening. Like, I think in life, okay, here comes my fucking 17,000 snap series. In life, I think we go through many different phases of awakening as we grow. I think that there's numerous times in our lives where we go through these spiritual awakenings, and it is kind of like a spiral where we review. Life is like a spiral where we walk around and we get deeper truths every time we go around. If that makes any sense. Not really explaining it properly, I'm sure. If you look it up about how life is a spiral and you come back around and see deeper truths, it makes more sense how someone else says it, not me. But anyway, I gotta say my whole body's been recalibrating itself the past 2 years. I've had like a lot of weird things happen to me health-wise, and my body's just like getting rid of like shit. I feel that's what it is. Between kidney stones, these like weird coughs and stuff. I was a cigarette smoker for a long time, and like I stopped a couple of years ago, but then I was still vaping, so I was still addicted to nicotine, and then I stopped that last year, and my body, I feel, has been like purging a lot of things. And I fainted, and like weirdo things have been happening. My teeth, my gums, my body, my digestion, like everything has been a little bit haywire. My skin, my hair, my face, my everything. And I've come to understand today that as I'm painting, actually, that this is all a bigger process of my whole recalibration as being. it's a rebirth. And I'm going through this like really major awakening process. It's been happening for a few years, but it kind of feels like it's been happening for 10. But like it feels more intense now, and a lot of things in my life, it's always like before like before big changes in your life, I kind of feel like the universe gives you like a review. You know what I mean? Not like a test like review, but like just a review, like a retrospect, like you know how Facebook, well, I don't really have Facebook anymore, but you know how they do like your year in review or whatever? It's kind of like that. And like memories come up, and then you look back on it and you try to make peace with things. I've been doing a lot of forgiveness work, letting go of grudges, letting go of like resentments and things that I've been holding on to for a long time without even realizing that I'm holding on to things, because I'm a pretty forgiving person. Like I don't think that I hold on to stuff. I think that I roll with the punches and I move forward. But as I'm shedding like different parts of myself and like really coming into a better awareness of my being, and like facing certain truths about my life and my being and accountability and all that, I'm realizing, yeah, I have been holding on to things that I thought that I wasn't. And I've been going through this whole like forgiveness thing. And you know, not thing, but like process in my life, just with like everything and forgiving everything, like forgiving every single slight. Again, in the past, I'm like working on all that forgiveness. It's been coming up and I'm dealing with it, and not dealing with it, but letting it go, and then realizing that as I do that, I'm becoming lighter and lighter inside, but also like there are like other things come up to be dealt with, and then it's like an emotional stripping away of things. And where the lighter you get, like the more, I don't know, it's like hard to explain, but it's hard to explain. I'm starting to sound a little kooky, but sometimes when you look back on your life, you kind of wish that maybe things were different, or that maybe you would have done this or that, like not regrets, but I've been going through a lot of that stuff. Like maybe I should have stayed with this job, maybe I shouldn't have fucked up and gone over in this job. But the thing is, everything in life happens the way it needs to, and that's like coming to terms and being like where you are in the moment of where you are. And anyway, so I'm going through this whole process. So I've been going through the spiritual, like, rebirth, growth. I don't know what the hell it is. Probably shouldn't, describe it like that, but I feel like I'm stepping into the place where I really can create my life. I feel like the universe is giving me the opportunity to like wipe my whole entire slate clean, and whether or not I want to step into that, I can, and if I don't, I don't. There's a choice that needs to be made, and the choice is either, you know, is to not move, like to really empower myself. To really empower myself to create the life I want. And I kind of feel like the energies of the universe right now, and maybe it's just me, I don't know, or if it's everybody, but it kind of feels like underneath this, there's a lot of emotional things going on for everybody, but there's like this massive awakening happening. And underneath there's this the tone is just very loving. There's a very soft, loving, fuzzy energy there. And at the same time, there's a very swift kick in the ass happening. So it's like the universe is like, swift kick in the ass, but here's a fucking blanket to keep you cozy in the process. It's kind of like that. So that's how I'm feeling it, or discerning it, or whatever. So I think, and I feel everyone, or well, for me, I'm going through like some stuff. Rebirth. I'm rebirthing myself from a place that I didn't think that I would ever get to. Because I didn't know that I had to deal with other things. I thought I was ready. The thing is that you think you're ready or whatever, and then you learn a deeper truth, and you're like, wow, I really didn't know anything, and now I know something, and then you'll go through it again, and you're like, holy shit, I really don't know anything, and then you'll learn something, you'll get another deeper awareness, and you're like, holy fuck, I really didn't know anything, and I thought that I did. And the thing is that we're constantly evolving, growing, and learning, and whatever truths that we think that we know, there's a bigger truth to be had, because we'll learn a deeper truth at some point. So it's always good to keep, to be aware of that in yourself and in others. If you would have said to me, look, Jen, if you would have said to me 2 years ago, you're going to get to a place in life where you're going to actually forgive, everyone who hurt you. And when you get to that place, your story's going to change, but it's not going to change outside, it's going to change inside. If you would have told me that there's something that I just would have never believed it, because I was hurting so bad. And I was hurt so bad, and I've been betrayed a bunch of times. I think we all have in our lifetimes been betrayed by people that we care about, or we have been left, or we have been excluded, or felt excluded, or we have been hurt. We have been there's like everybody goes through all of these things, and we all go through it in our own time, and we all process it different, and we all heal different, and our journeys are all different, so nothing is the same for everyone. So it's hard to give advice to anybody about life. I mean, it's kind of like you can get some inspiration from other people, but really your process is so specific to your own stuff. But for me, if somebody would have told me, look, you're going to forgive your ex-boyfriend for all of this stuff, and you're going to move forward, and you're not going to, your story's going to change, because the forgiveness is going to change your story. It's almost like time traveling. It's almost like the forgiveness changes the past. And I'm going to tell you, it is true. This did happen. I didn't think that that's what forgiveness was, or the power of forgiveness, or what it is. Really didn't. Thought I had it all figured out. You just forgive somebody. It means that you forget about stuff. You're not harboring it in you. You just fucking move forward, and the past is the past, and the future is the future, and the present is the present, and blah 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 blah. But there is something different. There's something else about forgiveness. The true meat of forgiveness, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that when you really do forgive somebody, and you do have that compassion towards yourself, for and the other person, when you really actively forgive somebody, it does change the past, because you perceive your story different. And once you perceive your story different, the pain that you experienced is transformed into something else. It is so your past becomes transformed, and the pain that you experienced becomes softened through the act of forgiveness and compassion. And it almost is like you're calling back pieces of your power, of yourself, to you through the past. It is time travel. You're changing the past by forgiving it and moving forward in your life now, right now. I didn't really understand forgiveness. I've only learned what true forgiveness is in the past few weeks of my life, and I'm 42 years old. It's not just saying I'm sorry and moving forward in life. There is an active part. It's not about saying I'm sorry. It's not about hearing I'm sorry. It's way deeper than that. It's way more involved than that. And when you do have that feeling of forgiveness inside, you're actively changing your life. Never knew it. I've since learned it, and it has changed me permanently just by knowing it and doing that. It's a process. It's an everyday process. Some things you have to forgive a million times, you know? Sometimes you have to go over every day. There are some people in our lives that cause us a lot of pain, and every day we have to work, actively choose to forgive. And every time you do that, you are changing the past, because there's a piece of pain that's being softened and transformed into something, into love, into compassion. Every time you choose to forgive someone, you're transforming your pain into power, personal power, the power of love. Think about it. What better way is there to be in life than to honor yourself and life itself with that kind of love, and care? When you see someone's actions through the eyes of compassion, you're understanding that this person is hurting, and you're actively choosing to take into account their pain as you forgive the pain that was caused to you. It softens everything and transforms. It really is an alchemy. Forgiveness is an alchemist's tool to transformation. And if you have a lot of things to forgive, then you have a lot of things to transform into love. And you have the love that you choose to. It's quite a process. It's a beautiful process. And forgiveness is a gift that you're giving yourself. I understand that now. You're transforming your pain into love, and you're doing that by seeing the pain of another through compassion. In this way, it is transforming the past. It's transforming who you are. It's changing your history, because your perspective and your perception of yourself and your role in your story of life, in your history, changes. Very powerful stuff. And then what happens from that point is that you're you're empowered. You're no longer the victim of your past, because you've transformed it, and you've given yourself the gift of forgiveness through the act of mercy and compassion towards another. It doesn't seem like it should work that way, but miraculously it does. And it has nothing to do, it may have something to do with the person you're forgiving, because maybe on some level they do feel that forgiveness, or that letting go of that chain, that bond, or that pain, or that cord. But it really is all about you, because you're living your life different, because you're not living your life through the eyes of so much pain. You're living your life more empowered and more in the spirit of love. And loving others, loving people who are loving is easy. The true gift in love, compassion, forgiveness, and all of those virtues is being able to do it when it's not easy. That's when you really understand what all of those things are. When you can do those things when it's not easy, when it's not returned, when you can love yourself and through that love others, when you can forgive yourself, when you can forgive others and forgive yourself,